This is a world of magic. In this world, everyone uses magic casually, and magic is believed to be a gift from God, and its mastery marks one's social status. There lies a deep, dark forest. Within it resides a boy who is single-mindedly working out. His name is Mash, and he has a secret. He can't use magic. All he ever desired was a peaceful life alongside his family. However, one fateful day, people suddenly start trying to kill him, and he somehow finds himself enrolled in a magic school. There, he sets his sights on becoming a divine visionary, the elite of the elite. Will his ripped muscles work against the best and brightest of the wizarding world? To find out, we have to dive into this magical world. To join in, you must hit that subscribe button, and we are ready to go. The story begins with Mash, who is enjoying a cream puff after a rigorous workout session. Mash resides with his dad, named Regro, in a remote part of the forest, far from other humans. Despite his old age, Regro leads a peaceful life and knows how to manage stress. Today, when Mash enters the house and accidentally tears the door off its hinges, Regro becomes furious. Mash explains his confusion about whether to pull or push the door, apologizing and promising to fix it. Regro calms, but seeing Mash trying to push the door while in the wrong position, he gets angry again and yells at him. However, Mash keeps pounding the door and ends up completely breaking it. Once Regro regains his composure, he inquires if Mash has completed his training for the day. Mash, puzzled by the exclusively physical nature of his routine, questions Regro. Though Regro intends to reveal the truth about Mash's inability to use magic, he decides to postpone the discussion. Before leaving for work, Regro emphasizes Mash must not venture into the city. However, the moment Regro departs, Mash heads for the city to get some cream puffs, driven by his rumbling stomach. Upon arriving in the city, Mash witnesses people employing magic for tasks that could easily be done with their hands. He visits a cream puff shop and orders 7, but his excitement causes him to accidentally bend his coins. Mash apologizes and skillfully straightens the coins, leaving the seller astonished. As Mash prepares to leave, a gust of wind lifts his hood, revealing his face to the crowd. Onlookers notice that something is missing from his face. Meanwhile, a police officer named Brad reads on the newspaper that this year's divine visionary is Rain Ames, a second-year student at Easton Magic Academy. A divine visionary is a title awarded to the student demonstrating the highest degree of excellence over the school year. Along with the title, Rain is promoted to nobility and gifted 1 billion land and provisional employment at the Bureau of Magic. Brad is envious as he is living a dull life in a dull place. However, Brad's thoughts are interrupted when a disheveled, chained man from his cell pleads for forgiveness for a minor theft. Annoyed by the man's actions that had caused him trouble and forced him to work, Brad contemplates making the man regret his crime. Just as he's about to act, the phone rings, and Brad is informed about an unidentified child in the city. Meanwhile, Mash, who lacks the facial marking that everyone else has, walks through town, attracting curious gazes from the people around him. He encounters a drunken policeman, Terry, and accidentally spills cream on his uniform. In response, Terry berates Mash, who offers him a half-eaten cream puff in an attempt to make amends. However, Terry's anger escalates as he knocks the cream puff to the ground. Mash decides to take responsibility and offers to wash Terry's uniform, but ends up ripping his shirt off. Just then Brad arrives and spots Mash, suspecting him to be the missing child mentioned in the report. However, before Brad can question Mash, Regro rushes in and takes Mash away, apologizing for his son's actions. Seeing this as an opportunity for promotion, Brad conjures a magical bird to follow Regro. Back at their home, Regro yells at Mash for going to the city, but seeing him being sorry about it, Regro feels that Mash really regrets his actions. For a punishment, he tells him to repeat his morning training routine. Mash accepts and gives Regro some cream puffs. As Mash heads out to do his punishment, Regro rushes in to open the door for him so that he doesn't break it. Regro is now worried about Mash as the magical police had learned of him. He then notices Brad's bird outside. A moment later, Brad, Terry, and another policeman break through the wall. Meanwhile, Mash finishes his training quickly and decides to head back to eat some cream puffs. Singing a cream puff song along his way back, he stops at the door wondering if he had to push or pull, but then overhears Brad from inside, who knows that Regro had hidden Mash. Brad tells Regro that they flourish because they get rid of inferior blood unable to use magic, and those who can't use magic have no privilege to live. He asks Regro where Mash is, but Regro acts like he doesn't know anything. Brad tells Regro that sheltering an unmarked person is a crime. However, Regro refuses to speak even after Brad starts beating him up. Regro recalls how his family and bosses had seen him as a failure and useless as his magic was weak. He felt completely unwanted and thought to end his life. However, just before he jumped to his death, he heard a baby cry. Seeing the baby had no mark, he realized it was abandoned and felt he is like him. As the baby smiled at him, Regro felt for the first time in his life that someone needs him and swore to be a father of that child. Realizing Mash will be back any moment, Regro yells, telling Mash to run. Brad then realizes Mash should be still nearby and tells his men to look for him. Brad beats up Regro, trying to make him shut up, but as Regro keeps yelling, he decides to use magic. In that moment, Mash bursts through the door, punching one of the policemen and sending him flying outside through the wall. Terry faces Mash, but Mash again rips his uniform and starts slapping him and knocking him out. Regro wonders why Mash didn't run, and Mash explains it's because they are family and Regro is all he got. He apologizes for being selfish, but notes that since he is here already, he will send the police to hell. Brad laughs, wondering how Mash will defeat him without magic. Terry also believes Mash doesn't have a chance, and Brad used to be on the Bureau of Magic's security force and regular magic users don't stand a chance against him. Brad then states he will finish the fight in 3 seconds and starts casting a spell. Terry recognizes the spell to be the one that drove away a dragon. Brad then shoots a destructive magical ball at Mash, which causes an explosion. As the smoke clears, Brad can't believe he saw Mash just slapping his spell down like it was nothing. Brad then prepares an even more powerful spell, however Mash just slaps it down again. Brad shoots it again and again, but Mash uses a volleyball move to stop it and keep juggling with the magical balls. Mash keeps playing around with Brad's magic for a moment. Mash picks Regro's wand, telling him he will borrow it for a moment. Brad is surprised as Mash can't use magic but prepares a defensive magical circle to stop any magical attack. However, Mash throws the wand as a spear, piercing through Brad's magical defensive circle with ease and scratching Brad's face, shocking Brad as he had never seen someone use a wand like that. Mash then warns him to not threaten his family again or he will kill him. Recognizing Mash's talent, Brad offers him a deal. He tells Mash to join a magic academy and finish as the best student. This will give Mash the title of Divine Visionary and show that God accepts him. If Mash doesn't do this, Brad will tell the government about Mash. The government will then chase them their entire life. Mash thinks about his father's safety and eventually agrees to go to the academy. Easton Magic Academy is a prestigious institution in the magic realm with a highly competitive entrance exam. Only about 3% of applicants, those with superior magical powers, are accepted. A few days later, Claude Lucci, overseeing the entrance examination, notices several candidates from noble backgrounds. He is surprised to see Mash, an applicant, engaging in physical exercises like pumping iron and doing the invisible chair instead of preparing for the magic test. Lucci also spots Regro and Brad trying to hide but decides to ignore them, assuming Mash will fail due to his apparent lack of seriousness. To start the exam, Claude makes a grand entrance and impresses the students with his magical prowess. He sets a unique challenge by enchanting the test papers with squirming questions. The students must dispel the magic to line up the questions correctly. Mash, unfazed, simply orders the questions to stop moving, and to everyone's surprise, they obey. Mash continues to astound everyone with his unconventional methods. He makes a boulder float by physically lifting it and runs on water, passing each test with his physical strength rather than magic. The next challenge is a maze filled with traps, and they have 30 minutes to navigate it. Inside, Mash meets Lemon, who asks to team up with him. However, she later betrays him and cuffs his hands and feeds with magic to prevent him from reaching the goal. However, Mash easily breaks those cuffs with his bare strength. Later, when Lemon is threatened by a giant sphinx, Mash returns to save her and defeats the sphinx with a single blow. Mash and Lemon then race against time to reach the end of maze. It is revealed that Claude had recruited Lemon to stop Mash and starts to feel happy that he will fail to pass. But now he is shocked as he hears sounds like the maze walls breaking. He's stunned because the walls are a meter thick and magic-proof. Literally then, Mash bursts through, punching a line to the goal. The other students think it's cheating and want Mash to leave. Lemon defends Mash, saying it's not his fault. Claude silences her, promising to keep his word. Lemon confesses she was blocking Mash for a promised pass, needing it for her poor family. Despite her obstruction, Mash saved her and proposed. Mash clarifies he offered a piggyback for her injury. Claude says he can fail students he dislikes. He admits underestimating Lemon. Claude threatens to fail both. Mash challenges him by breaking his wand. Headmaster Wahlberg intervenes, announcing the final interview and taking over the exam. He teleports Mash to a hall with magic teachers and questions him. Some of the teachers don't like his answers, but Wahlberg seems impressed by Mash's resolve. Wahlberg then wonders if Mash would have taken the same action like he did to save Lemon earlier if he was facing him instead of that sphinx. To test his resolve, Wahlberg activates his magic, making some of the teachers fearing his immense magical power. Mash wonders what is that, and Wahlberg explains it's an ancient magic that transfers the soul of the target's most cherished one into a doll. In that moment, Regro collapses, having his soul transferred. Wahlberg proceeds explaining that if his knife then pierced the doll, the soul of Regro will never return. Mash tries to punch the knife, but it doesn't budge and he ends up injuring his arm. While Wahlberg wonders what Mash will do, Mash grabs the blade, trying to stop it from continuing going down. He explains that Wahlberg can't keep that magic forever and this will be an enduring contest. Wahlberg states that power can be used to harm or help, and it all depends on the wielder. He puts emphasis on protecting the weak and regulating the strong, noblesse oblige, and believes that Mash has that capacity too. Wahlberg then dispels his magic and apologizes for testing him. Mash, unfazed, responds that he'd confront Wahlberg with his fists if necessary. This response shocks the teachers, but Wahlberg admires the honesty and welcomes Mash into the academy. Later in the classroom, the teacher is demonstrating Opti-R's magic for unlocking mechanisms. But instead of using magic, Mash employs his physical strength to break open a lock, which infuriates the teacher, who expects the use of magic in class. Finn, sitting beside Mash, is worried about Mash's unconventional approach and starts to distance himself. Later, Finn, curious about his new roommate, returns to his room only to find the door missing. To his surprise, Mash appears, holding the door. Upon introducing themselves, Finn begins to reassess his initial judgment of Mash, thinking he might be more normal than he thought. However, Mash then starts introducing each of his muscles by name, leaving Finn astonished at the extent of Mash's madness. Despite the odd introduction, Finn tells Mash he's open to any questions, secretly hoping to maintain a peaceful life at the academy. Mash inquires about becoming the divine visionary. Finn explains the need to accumulate gold coins through various tests assessing different skills, with rewards in gold, silver, or bronze. He also highlights the importance of maintaining good grades to avoid expulsion. Realizing the challenges ahead, Mash acknowledges the tough journey. In a friendly gesture, Mash offers Finn a cream puff, which he accepts.